Alright, so last time we explored the camp a little bit. We looted a whole bunch of stuff. We talked to the queen. And then we did some respecking. I did that off camera just because I didn't think it was going to be too interesting. But from here, we're going to catch up with some of our companions. So let's just, I don't know, see if anybody else has anything to say real quick. Let's talk about you serving a Scylla. Of course, my master bride only serve you. What did you do for the demons? Brought my kin to the lair so they could join the demon army and accept the power given to them. I made my tribe stronger. Later, once we no longer need the demons, my powerful kin would have fought for me. Aren't you ashamed of betraying them? I know that Saul would have called me a traitor, but for one reason only. He grew old and cowardly. I accept the same fate as my followers. Tribesmen, I ate the flesh too, and for many gongs I thrashed with fever, growling like an animal, lunging at anyone and everyone. My body was burning from the inside, but I handled it because I was strongest of them all. Not a single day have I regretted the power I gained, and that's why I'm not ashamed of sharing the power with my tribe. How can I trust you? Why would I betray you, Master? You are the strongest. It would be stupid to defect to your enemies and die along with them. No, I'm not that dumb. Why did you decide to switch allegiance? I was only serving the demons because they promised me power, and only for as long as they had something to offer me, but Scylla can't offer me anything now. She's dead, and I was never going to risk my life for her. You are a true leader, one worth following. I have no more questions. That's it for now. Let's head over and talk to Ember.
Everyone counts on me.
How are you handling your new abilities? Abilities? What are you talking about? Oh, the tricks you learned when the big gray house blew up? They're funny. Thanks for teaching them to me. The queen gave me the title of Knight Commander and put me in charge of an army. What do you think about that? Don't believe titles. All of us in the world are children of the street, barefoot, hungry, scared, a step away from death. Some imagine they're strong and rich, like gods, but don't forget who you really are behind the title. I have to go. So go. Okay, Nenio. Ah, boy, there you are. Very good, just in time. You'll be delighted to know that I need you for an experiment. So, the Great Garrison stands roofless. The demons are running for the hills, and their demons are running for the hills with their tails between their legs. Mendev's queen, what's her name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Ah, yes. Galfrey is scurrying to and fro, and all is somehow connected to you, my loyal follower. Thus far, there is no scientific evidence of your exponentiality if one discounts the blind faith in divine intervention, which I do. We, people of science, refuse to believe in the inexplicable without any proof. We are the ones who must explain the inexplicable. Nenio punctuates her statement with an energetic sweep of her arm. And therefore, open your mouth and say ah for me. Why? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to study you. Come along. Don't stand in the way of science. What does my mouth have to do with my new abilities? Perhaps there is no connection, or perhaps there is a direct connection. We'll never know unless we try to find out. Open your mouth. Ah. Nenio peers into your mouth. Alright, your throat's fine. Your tongue looks perfectly normal. Your breath? The smell is in line with the regular functioning of the digestive system. Now for your teeth. No detectable alterations. By the way, did you know that many individuals, while being wholly civilized representatives of their races, still have an amazingly powerful bite? As if suddenly recalling something, Nenio promptly pulls her hand out of your mouth. Are you trying to find the correlation between fang length and civility? Nenio seems slightly embarrassed. For the good of science, I look for correlations everywhere and in everything. How can you prove there's no correlation if you don't bother to look for one? With teeth like mine, I should know. Nenio casts a puzzled glance at you, and then quickly nods. Ah yes, you're a dampier. Field research has shown that a Dampier's bite will turn an individual into neither a vampire nor another Dampier. Unfortunately, the average bumbler on the street prefers to believe idle speculation rather than scientific fact. It's kind of neat that there's race-specific dialogue to go along with her. Moving on. Alright, what shall we do next? Ears. Let's check your hearing. Testing! Nenio yells right in your ear, not in satisfaction as she observes your reaction. Your hearing is fine. Was fine. But don't worry, it's scientifically proven that it should return to normal soon. Next. Nenio circles you. Eyes are clear. Posture is satisfactory. Limb length is standard. No lice. She stops, rubs her chin in contemplation, and in a slightly dejected tone says, "Boy, you are the picture of health. It's pity. I was expecting to find some anomaly. Well now, let's assess your mental state. Imagine a hypothetical situation. You are a tree. Two squirrels have found their way into your hollow and are now copulating there. What do you do?" I'll do precisely nothing because I'm a tree. An unconscious act of withdrawal along with a lack of trust in your own abilities, or perhaps just a healthy dose of pragmatism? On to the next question. Another hypothetical situation. You are a tomato. You have just been picked from the vegetable patch and put into a crate. You know that today the cook will use half of the tomatoes from your crate to make soup. What do you do? There's nothing I can do. I am a tomato, remember? An unconscious act of withdrawal. Inability or unwillingness to see something bigger behind the small. Alright, I understand. On the surface, it appears you don't really believe in your ability to change things, but in fact, you are a strong pragmatist who knows perfectly well what you can and can't do. Your reasoning is that of a mortal, one who's capable of achieving a great deal, though he would deny even that. On that note, I deem this experiment complete. Thank you for your participation. Nenio looks at you pensively and then gestures at you with a wide sweep of her arm. And yet, you remain a puzzle to me. I love puzzles. One of these days, I will solve you completely. Unless I forget. Now I have time to answer your questions. Come on, ask away. I don't like it when you call me boy. My name is Darian. On the grand scale of world history, your name is irrelevant. I have no reason to remember it. You see, the brain of any given individual can contain only a limited number of facts. I only expand my memory on things that are truly important. The laws of thermodynamics, divine esoterica, planar geography, things that will lead Galarian to a brighter future. Besides, what if I make a great discovery, but I won't be able to remember it because my memory is full of outdated or useless information? What a nightmare that would be. What a loss for the whole of Galarian. But you do remember your own name, right? Only so I know what to put for the author's name in my encyclopedia. Are there any names worth remembering? There are, and to my deepest regret, there are too many of them. The names of gods and demigods, the names of rulers, conquerors, and other persons by some reason deemed great by the people of Galarian. They etched their names into history, and alas, every self-respecting educated person must know them. But there are some names I am happy to remember. Great scientists, some of them divine, others mortal, true keepers of knowledge and great experimentalists. The pioneers of knowledge, Iori, Nethys, Erilu, Vorlesh. Erilu Vorlesh opened the world wound. She's a betrayer of humanity. It's her fault the demons invaded Galarian. I didn't expect you to mention Erilu Vorlesh. Interesting. You think so too? She's the greatest of the greatest. Just imagine, she managed to open a rift from Galarian to the Abyss. No one knew how, no one believed it possible, no one even dreamed of such a thing. And she just did it. It was the experiment of the century. Nenia wipes a tear from her eye. I would have been so happy if I could have been in her place. Of course, some part of Galarian's population died as a result of her experiment, and the Crusaders are still wrestling with the consequences to this day. But the very essence of what Arilu managed to do was a breakthrough of cosmic significance, both figuratively and literally. Sooner or later, the world wound will be closed. Peace will return to Galarian. As for the victims of the ongoing war, they will be remembered as unfortunate but unavoidable sacrifices made at the altar of science. Wow, cold. We were talking about something? I'd like to clarify a few things about your new task. We've already covered that. Tell me about yourself. I'm an explorer, a pilgrim, yet to be recognized, a scientific luminary, future author of the Encyclopedia Gallarionica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. Where'd you come from? Information is irrelevant. I decided to forget it. You have a circle tattooed on your shoulder. What does it mean? Oh, that. I do not remember its the circumstances of its creation, but I like it. I prefer to think of it as a zero, null, nothing. A center point, an origin of coordinates. It reminds me how much of the unknown the world there is to explore. You don't remember how you got this tattoo? Information is irrelevant. I decided to forget it. How can you just decide to forget important pieces of information? It's just one of my many talents. The secret is to stop thinking about the thing you want to forget, and the main thing is not to remember anything you don't need, to filter it, to get right to the essence. I'll teach you someday, unless I forget. What is this encyclopedia you're working on? It'll be published in 100 volumes, 1,000 pages each, plus it's the author's addendia. Okay. Addendia indexation is still in question. I just like the number 100. Okay. Okay. Do you remember your parents, your past, or is all of that irrelevant too? All of it is irrelevant on the grand scale of world history. I have no reason to remember such things. I admire the capabilities of your memory. What? What were we talking about? How did you become a scientist? Irrelevant? Forgot. Stop torturing you. What are we talking about? I have to go. Okay. Melia. Real quick talk to her. Make sure we're all caught up. Speech tells me you're of noble birth. Okay. So you're Horgus's daughter. You discovered my most terrible secret. Father cares so much about the Gorm name that he raised me in our mansion, hiding me away from the whole world. I'll always be grateful for my father for everything he's done for me, even if Mendev society disapproves of some of his decisions. It would be insolent of me to beg for your discretion. Would it be insolent of me to beg for your discretion regarding what you know about us? Keep it our little secret. What do you think of the powers you received? People of noble descent grow accustomed to ample opportunity. The powers I received from you are useful, but I see no point in treating them with excessive piety. I have to go. Okay. Sela.
Hello. So, what do you reckon about everything that's come crashing down on us? All the responsibility, command, this new power?
This is what I was born for.
I envy your confidence. In a good way. It's great to believe that everything is going the way it should. I'm still frightened by what happened in the Grey Garrison. Were we really chosen? By Iomade herself? You know, back when I was a snot-nosed kid who just started down the path to becoming a paladin, I imagined once or twice that I was going to do something heroic. The lights would shine down on me, the trumpets would sing, I'd hear the voice of the goddess, or at least her herald, you know? I'd be informed that I had been chosen for a great cause. But that's the point where my imagination always failed me. Somehow, it really happened. Without all the trumpets or the herald or even anyone explaining what I had to do. Though it's clear as day, my place is here, in this demon-ridden wound. Quite a lovely war going on, in fact. Endless, I hear. I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this. Spare me an hour and I'll crawl into some dark corner and whine about my hard lot. What can I tell you? I cry easily.
Thank you for speaking with me. Until next time. And Woljeff. What do you think of my new powers? You mean what you did back there? I have a few ideas. We could send you to a Pitax underground arena to fight, give you a scary name like Swift Sting or something like that, give you a great cover story. Enemies burn down your house, you're avenging your dead family, the public eats that stuff up. You'll wear a shiny, eye-catching outfit, or a black one if you like black better. We'll split the prize money, 60-40. 60 for me, of course. You know, arranging fights isn't easy. Those people are tough. I'll be taking more risk than you. And after we get set up in Pitax, we'll tour different cities, make real money. What, you don't like the sound of that? Do you have any other suggestions? I got one more. Have you heard of Rasmuren? It's some land in the River Kingdoms ruled by King Rasmer. A friend of mine used to live in Rasmuran. He got out of there as fast as he could. Long story short, this King Rasmer of theirs is God. He keeps his people under his heel. They're all terrified of what he might do. He sits on his throne wearing some white mask, giving power to anyone. Come and take the power from me, he says. So long as you believe in me. But that friend of mine, the one who fled, was a half-sister of his old man, on his old man's side, who's a cook in a castle and a washerwoman who the cook plays cards with in the evenings, told her a juicy rumor. Word is, Rasmer isn't a real god at all, and he's got no powers. So here's my point. You do have powers, pretty scary ones too. We'll find some shabby little kingdom, we'll start some rumors, you'll show off a few tricks to wow the locals, and that's it. We'll make you a deity. But first I want you to put it in writing that I'll be your chief advisor. I'm not doing anything on just a nod. I've been there. People promise you the mountains of gold, and when it comes to it, they're all, get lost, or I'll set the dogs on you. So, do you like the idea? It's an interesting idea, but I need to think about it. Sure thing. Just think about it. Just call me if you need me. We'll discuss it. Are you really staying in the party or just waiting for a chance to run off? As if I could. There are demons and dangers around every corner. Don't worry, Chief. I'll work my dead off honestly. I won't stab you in the back or go on the run with your money. And if you buy my wares, I won't have to leave at all. Show me what you can get using your connections. Okay. I'll take 2 of these, 3 of those, scrolls, one of those. Okay, get those and I'll copy them to spell books. One of these. Two of those. One of these. And that'll be it. Nice. Cool. So I've copied all those spells to my spell book. Let's head out. Yeah, I'm good. Take the party that I've got. All right, let's go to the campsite. I might as well go to the cemetery. Oh. Okay. Magical anomalies are common in the world of Galarian. So common that the use of anomaly itself is questionable. A regular city dweller will encounter a chaotic manifestation of supernatural power at least once in their lifetime. One might naturally assume that the strange sky, the ghostly fire from the rifts in the ground, the rain of eyeballs, all the world wound is known for, should find some purchase in the mortal mind. But even the most worldly travelers feel uneasy at its borders. Why? Perhaps instinctively they understand that this place is not merely a magical wasteland, but a wound, an ulcer through which the world itself bleeds into the abyss. The commander and his army walk up the high bank of the West Selen River, where it draws near the border of the world wound. The soldiers' feet halt unbidden. On the other side, the bank On the other bank rises a series of cliffs, 2 regular in shape, 2 have been formed by wind and water. The sky hangs over their sharp edges and sickening bends, the shade of mercury on the horizon rising to dirty rust. As it arches above the soldiers' heads, it remains its familiar azure hue. A whisper sweeps through the ranks, and soon turns into a grumble. The commander gives a signal to halt and climbs to the highest point along the bank. There he decides to look around. There is strange movement in the sky. Black clouds twist into funnels and turn a sickly yellow. The brooding storm is on the other side of the river, ahead of the army. Avoiding the strange phenomenon will hardly be possible. The commander decides to address the soldiers and boost their morale. Establishing rapport with his troops is yet another battle that the leader must face. Through subtle alchemy of words, one can win trust and raise morale, or lose faith and authority. Addressing the army on the border of the Worldwound, the commander seeks to establish himself as a military leader on this new battleground, and his efforts prove fruitful. The soldiers listen dutifully, smiles appearing on their faces. Someone in the rank jokes that the demons are growing tired of waiting for them. The army keeps moving. Lines of soldiers step warily beneath the shroud of low black clouds. It is like the Worldwound has reached out a finger into the clouds of Mendev, into the lands of Mendev. The gesture seems eerily harmless, but then the clouds come to life, shooting out howling tornadoes, one after another. The tornadoes come from all sides, from ahead, behind, and right above the soldiers' heads. The power of the elements is on one side of the scales, the soldiers' faith and inspiration on the other. It's plain to see which is greater. The determined army runs the gauntlet of tornadoes. The struggle lasts over half an hour, but the army's only losses are a few bags of supplies and a dozen hats whipped off into the sky. After stopping to catch their breath, the soldiers continue on. Their first encounter with the Worldwound has ended in their favor. Nice. Enter the camp. And that is where we will pick it up next time. Thanks for watching, guys.